So it's been a while since my last video. I just been working and doing some other stuff. I did try to record a video in between that time. The topic was about what it meant to be a man, and the more I talked about it, the more I thought about it, the more I kind of answered my own question. Even in the video, you can kind of see that I was like, "Wait a minute, I figured this out." So I didn't want to put out or release anything that felt a bit redundant. And instead, I'm going to talk about something a little shorter, a little simpler. It's just basically some things that I've kind of learned throughout my 20 years, 22 years of existence. And some of these are pretty obvious. Some of these, took me a minute to figure out. But I feel like it's just kind of neato to share what I think are a bit important. And if you know these, great. And if you don't, then write them down in a notebook somewhere. So this lesson I've more or less learned from a song. I forget what it is off the top of my head, but I'll just like put a picture somewhere. One of the lines in the song is giving it up is not giving up. And giving something up, whether it be, let's say, an ice cream cone, giving up a toy that maybe you like, giving up, maybe giving someone up, it's not necessarily giving up yourself. You're not really quitting. You're just kind of moving on to that next step or moving on to something else. And I feel like that's super important to distinguish the two. Just because you leave something or, maybe you stop doing one thing, it doesn't mean you quit or you give up in your entirety. It's okay to just like, distance yourself from that thing. It's not bad. It's just a part of being an adult. Because so clearly I am an adult. In that same sphere, the other lesson is, and I'm pretty sure you've heard this all the time, but it took me a while to really come to grips with it, is it's okay to make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect. At some point in your life, you're going to make a decision that you either don't agree with anymore or you could have done better or something. But that's kind of the part of living. You always make mistakes. Whether you're a kid, me, or a grown-up man, woman, it's just okay. It's fine. Everybody does it, and you're not never gonna make mistakes. And I guess what kind of led me to this realization was, oddly enough, the pandemic, which is I feel like is kind of a cop out to say because the pandemic made everybody retrospective. But basically, like I took a lot of things for granted. My college life, just hanging out with people, like seeing friends, and that was a mistake. That was just like a really big old mistake that I made, and I feel hopefully I'll learn and not do that again. But it's just something that happens. And kindness and patience is not a weakness; it's a virtue. Just because you're kind and you take time with people doesn't make you like lesser of a dominant person or doesn't make you like weak. It just makes you virtuous. I guess that's so silly. But it's true, it's a lot easier to fall into hatred and anger. So much easier. It's so quicker. It's so readily satiating than the more truer, well-founded building that is kindness and patience, because not everybody has that. And it's fantastic when you meet somebody that gives you that time of day. People will try to manipulate you and use that to their advantage, but that's kind of where the other aspect of you have to have confidence and strength to be like, all right, I'm putting my foot down. Because putting your foot down, another lesson I've learned, is not being mean. It's not being aggressive. It's just standing your ground. You got to do that. You have a right as a person to just be like, no. If you can't take no as an answer, then you got stuff to work out. All right. And the last thing I just want to throw out there is deciding. I guess a better way to say it is acting in your own self-interest. So this stuff I actually have trouble with. Even now, despite me knowing the lesson, I have a hard time really putting it into effect. I often have a hard time doing things for myself. It's usually for others, whether it's like their own happiness or like their own interest, because I feel like that's something that I would like happen to me. The golden rule. Treat others how you'd like to be treated. That kind of stuff. And I suppose I take that very seriously compared to like maybe my other contemporaries or other peers. I feel like for too long I've been acting for others and realizing that acting for yourself, if For an example, if I want to take a nap at 4 p.m. in the afternoon because I'm tired, it's okay. I can do that. If I don't want to go to a party, let's say, um, and they're really egging me on, whoever it may be, it's like, I don't want to go. It's okay. I don't want to go. Or maybe I really do want to go to this thing and like nobody else wants to go. I can just go and do that. It's okay sometimes to act in your own self-interest and be, you know, do what makes you happy. Again, like the whole kindness and patience thing, if you personally misuse that kind of attribute, then that's where it gets kind of tricky. Now you're just being an asshole. But like many great things, they're used in moderation, and I think that is something that I'm, at least as a young adult, have been more aware of. So, my little bit of young adulty wisdom towards you. I hope you take these bits of nuggets of wisdom with you. Apply them if you can. If you can't, then you can work on that. If you've got any other lessons, type them in the comments below. I really want to read comments. And I'll talk at you later about whatever else is going on in my mind, hopefully a lot sooner.